Javier is easily one of the most underrated characters in the Walking Dead game. He's well known in the community, yet he's somehow almost always overlooked. And the real purpose behind his presence in the series rarely gets talked about. This video has two goals. First, to show why Javier is a far stronger character than most people give him credit for. Second, to explore how Javier actually exists to change the way you see characters you may have disliked before. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. Seasons before A New Frontier are packed with characters people absolutely hated. Ben, the well-meaning screw-up who can't get anything right. Nick, the guy who never manages to escape the shadow of his best friend. Bonnie, who, in my opinion, is one of the most frustrating characters in the entire series because she consistently chooses herself over everyone else. The thing they all share is the same core archetype. They believe they're doing the right thing, but they always end up causing damage. They exist to test your patience and to see how far your forgiveness can stretch. So why does this matter for Javier? Because that exact archetype is what defines him. He isn't just the naive younger brother who was never around when he should have been, like Ben. He isn't just the man trying to step out of his family's shadow after ruining his own career, like Nick. And he isn't just the person who put himself first at the worst possible time, like Bonnie. He's all of these traits woven together into a single character. Before the outbreak, Javier saw himself as a rising star. He was a professional baseball player, the center of attention, and he acted like the world revolved around him. That ego meant he was rarely there for the people who actually mattered. Then the betting scandal hit. He got suspended, his career collapsed, and in pure desperation, he crawled back to the one place he knew he'd still be loved, even after everything he'd done. From the opening scene with David to his own mother slapping him across the face, the message is clear. We're not stepping into the shoes of a moral anchor like Lee. We're playing the screw-up. We're playing the kind of archetype many fans used to resent. A lot of players miss this, and I've had plenty of comments asking why I call Javier a screw-up. This is exactly why. At its core, Javi's entire journey is about stepping up. It's about taking a character type the community never really connected with and forcing you to see life from their perspective. Almost every decision in A New Frontier is sharper and more dangerous than previous seasons, and so many of them directly threaten your reputation. Your past mistakes follow you, and every choice becomes a chance to either repeat your old behavior or rise above it. Before diving any deeper, it's crucial to look at what the writers deliberately placed on Javier's shoulders. With David presumed dead and the rest of their family gone, the responsibility of protecting David's wife and children falls entirely on Javi. He becomes the parent, the mentor, the emotional anchor. He has to grow up fast, both mentally and physically, because there's no one else left to do it. From the moment the game starts putting life or death choices in front of you, it's slowly shaping Javier into the Lee of his own group, and every step of that transformation is tested. When Mariana is killed, you're confronted with your first real failure as a protector. Do you chase vengeance to prove you'll stand up for your family, the way someone like Kenny would? Or do you prioritize the living to ensure no one else gets taken from you? Later, when Conrad holds Gabe at gunpoint, do you kill him to protect your nephew? Or do you surrender to his demands for the sake of avoiding further bloodshed? It doesn't matter which path you choose, because your family judges you either way. Your past is thrown back in your face again and again. Every mistake you ever made becomes ammunition, and every decision you make becomes a referendum on whether you've actually changed. The biggest turning point in Javier's story is the return of David, a man who knows exactly who you used to be and isn't shy about reminding you. This is where Javi's arc becomes genuinely compelling. While you spend the entire game trying to grow, becoming more patient, dependable, and level-headed, David starts crumbling under the pressure. The brother who once had to forgive your mistakes becomes the one who can't control his emotions, lashes out, and makes terrible decisions. The flashbacks with your father push you toward compassion, urging you to treat David the way he once treated you.
I know you think you're strong enough to handle that alone, and so does your brother, and you're both wrong. You have to take care of each other.
That brotherly dynamic is what elevates A New Frontier. You're not just redeeming yourself. You're being asked to extend that redemption to someone who's falling into the same pitfalls you once did.
Legacy, David. It's all anyone leaves behind.
Now here's a take I know some people won't agree with. If you fail to be a brother to David, I think you fail Javier's arc. Not only is going after David the choice that keeps Gabe alive, which fits perfectly with the protective role the story sets up after Mariana's death, but it also allows you to complete the full circle. By the end of the game, no Garcia has to be the bad brother. You finish the journey the story lays out from the very beginning. Here's where things get a bit more provocative. I genuinely think Kate is a distraction from the real goal of Javier's arc. I don't dislike her, she's a solid character, but she consistently misreads the situation. No matter how many times you turn her down, she still assumes Javi feels the same way, and that tension fuels the conflict between the brothers. But just like every protector in The Walking Dead, your responsibility isn't to save or romance an adult. Your responsibility is to protect the vulnerable person you've been entrusted with, and in this story, that's Gabe. A lot of players can't stand Gabe, and that reaction is intentional. He's supposed to be difficult. He's supposed to be frustrating, because you were once that kind of person too. He's designed to test you, to make you question whether you're willing to step up for someone who behaves the same way you used to. He's the narrative trap that tempts you into a selfish choice, especially if you're chasing a romance with Kate instead of fulfilling the role you were meant to grow into. I think we're overlooking someone important here: Clementine. I covered her controversial role in A New Frontier in my longer video. The short version is this: the Clementine paradox is real. Her presence pushes players into choices Javier himself probably wouldn't make, and honestly maybe that's the point. If you're making life and death decisions for a girl Javi barely knows, then the game is quietly proving he isn't fully ready for the responsibility he thinks he wants. Picks like siding with Ava over Trip, or even killing Conrad while Gabe's in danger, start feeling like Clementine is nudging the scales more than Javier's actual instincts. But aside from that influence, I think Clementine becomes a new moral lens for Javi. Everyone else sees him through old baggage, old mistakes, and old expectations. Clementine doesn't. She only sees the man he's becoming in the moment. She treats Gabe with patience, almost signaling to Javi that he should take the gentler route too. She becomes a guide, a quiet standard he measures himself against. Through her, Javi gets a fresh way to judge his own growth as a protector. Here's the real takeaway: the choices in A New Frontier aren't about morality, and they're not about picking the lesser evil. They're about shaping a version of Javier you can look at and genuinely say, he's finally a dependable protector who puts his family before himself. It's about taking him from a washed-up selfish baseball player into the man capable of putting himself second. And in the end, depending on how you play, Javier exists to reveal who you really are in this world. He can expose you as a Ben or a Nick, someone who repeats the same selfish patterns, or he can become proof that you're a protector who knows how to put your own feelings aside when it truly counts. One of the greatest redemption arcs in the entire series is the one most players never even recognized as a redemption. In a world where the bigger picture blurs behind the day-to-day fight to survive, Javier quietly becomes one of the most grounded and believable transformations in Telltale's writing. Strip everything else away and you're left with this simple fact: he's one of the most realistic, human, and genuinely earned redemption stories the series has ever told. This video would not have been possible without my members: Gog, Wizard Elf, Eternal Canadian, Fresh Pokemon Hunter, Ross Mo, Beatbox Blade, Donnie, Poopensock, Alexander Brantley, Jojo My Dojo, Guy Oasis, Skullskill 777, Chesburger, Freezing Dice, HL2GOAE, Weiss Belladonna, Elva, Xavier the God, Ruka Q8, Fran Senpai Reacts, Absolute Sin, Fasora, and Nico the Bartender. Every video it feels like I have to go a little bit quicker, and of course this would not have been possible without you, the viewer. Thank you so much.